Hello, my U-Turn family. Welcome to the U-Turn show. If you are new, this is a platform for empowering our communities through impactful conversations, real life stories, and resources for youth and women. Every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we gather here to spotlight voices that challenge limits and those that reminds us that real change begins the moment we choose to turn in a new direction, to make a U-turn. So, if you are navigating change in your life, looking for clarity, or building the next big thing, you belong here. So, share this conversation and stick with us as we begin the real talk, real growth, real U turn. Yes, so thank you everyone. Welcome Dorcas and welcome Jor Mayola. And for those that are watching us, please share this conversation. It's very important. It might not be applicable to wider audience, but it's a debate in response to what has been happening within our South Sudanese community, in our Dinga community in particular, and it's in regard of a community youth association. So many youth association anong in sometimes what is defined as youth one is senior youth the real youth rin dorcas kedi chol mayola. But the debate for the past few years is need our more representation in leadership. But I think I hear somewhere. So there has been a growing interest. When you big big association can be form. So and that has created a lot of unrest in our community. So today we're gonna debate it. We'll speak both Dinka and English, and two of U10 fellows here are on different camps, which is exciting. So Dorcas, who is a girl, I was expecting that she's fighting for women to be on their own, but she actually won both young girls and young boys being together in community associations. Chol Mayula, who is a guy whom I was supposed that Blue uh, campaign that women and men should be together. She's actually is good. Being women, big rated in Gape, community rated in Gape, especially regard our community association. So today I'll be a debate, and we welcome your contribution. So share where you are joining from. Put in the comment section what point makes sense to you. Do you want separation of youth for association men and women, or do you want digital together? So before Ban and Chio Ban a debate about to the people, the proponent of separation take about Congen platform to share why they want the community to be separated for men and women leadership to be different. And then your 3 minute point in your highlight, then now the one who want us to be together, about 3 minute balloon, the real why is important. What are the advantages of being together as a youth association? So we'll start with you, Chol Mayula. You want the men and women to be separated. So why? Take it away.
Thank you, Qualplate, the moderator, and the audience. Uh, this topic is it's a little bit interesting. Why? I will first give the background because what we are discussing here is community. Community, anang norms, anang values, and the way they do their things. I want us to make sure that that one is stick into our mind. That what we are discussing here is a community association. People who have come together and they have common thing and that bring them together. So young culture, kiyong equal youth. Young culture define youth roti kunyir. So na boku jakoj mat kikanang kajwi wateto kam yinyir ken roti. In fact, some of the things anang ko ingo ka to ryo chita po buka discuss on the same table. Yi mo kan yi nya kan ranti. That the basics. This is where I'm coming from. So for all these things, we are trying to mix them. Keneke all youth, it's all chabab. Chula to college chula yo, where we meet in schools. Kuteyen waka kwa lois in school, and we want to bring it to the community. So this is where contradiction is. This didn't get our again initial start of the problem. So kinyir kurati anang ten ke watch. On there before that, banyeto e abany e chol bany wur. Alwa bany wur it represent eranti inche there senior mass. Okay? Kuba jaman pan jengti achin bany dendeto. Either Yalama or other things, or Bulu, Imakwe, and all this. These are the people, but the theater from there. So, as time goes, Kachende Benangi Bangi security and all those. So, Carvalho and Titan walk near Canarati, Anantian war. Kutene, in Kachen, young Kenel, okay. Titi in Yagala long, based on the culture. Kulondian waka kwa loy in kain min pia ben nyirbeto. But all in all, a part of the youth. But the jala wake it tinde and ben along. Likewise, to the way yen man in a baby, in a ben yalby. Man ya which king a duet, yama sure. Quitting in num dea de pia they are clear. Don't walk away young by then. Kajalo, okay. After chelo thorough training, Kajalo, okay, good. In bijala by ago. You see, that's the leadership responsibility. Kabijala bonde kubumonda anyu, but still, I will observe. Still, at the echo way. Anang way kabogulo okay in a direction ko Latin. On anang teach watch. So all these steps they are also surrounding. We are independent, but still bigger the education way. So to me, a child kinyir can be taught together. Kubu all this kabukai ajami together. Our programs. So other ni ache kirawar can be kai culture kan ya aje tan ke be always openly kina ngorge kinja nale jalmia, then I will agree that work or we are together. But the more yen ko jeji ka rioigu, the more yen ko jeji ka nang kati kani kala longa pa. For us ke wa eroti chinga yu kala long, but I feel ka an chol that it is necessary that binyi bi jeji ka long and continue kind of program lo okay. Thank you. This is where I am.
Thank you, Chol Mayola. Your statement position, your position statement, your reason why very near peer big now association then from cultural perspective in Kachinban. So I agree with your points. So now Bella non dorcas with statement a lot of jalo rebatoli, but right now just you telling your 3-minute statement why you think it's good to be together, Dorcas.
Okay, hi to the Eton family and to those that are watching for the first time. Kule, ayukulo in India near the mane, kuni kule. So you welcome Jama Ben and kile bagudu into hipyo. The man ye try to both side bagudu bagor. So to hear me a lot has and the audience today. And it's all Dokas Adich Alier, and I'm happy to be here today. By the way, this is a very interesting topic. But I know you were going to discuss somewhere, and I stood on this position that I'm going to stood on it today. Okay, for me, I have background of studying in a school that was for girls and also a school that was for boys, right? Mixed up school. And I have the experiences, all right. And to me, I see staying together with a brother is so exceptional and very important. So let me like when I look into the culture then talking work. I think that continue to we all dance together. I was dear, right? And we dance together and to make it meaningful. Now be on there. Mena chene chelu and Kenya you observe kujelwala that yanangu do but in Paul your brother still observe you because they have part in your life in bringing you up or in your growth. They have part. For me, I believe I cannot do without my brother. He has part in my growth and development, and I also have part in his development, right? So that's why I'm saying let's be together. We need each other in this growth and development because at some point the same along some shared problem you can face together that need to sit down being solve together. So in my statement, we need each other. I know one of a lot of problem whereby one of cultural values and expectation you can expect to have but I still say we need each other and we shall go through those things together.
Thank you, Dorcas, for sharing your statement on why being together is important, and from a job approach from growth perspective and development perspective, that we both need each other to grow and to support each other development. And I can keep so I'm jala into rebuttals. I have question, but before one of question, I want maybe Cholma Yula to challenge your assumption, and then get a rebuttal, like, and then you will also challenge Cholma Yula into my questioning. So Cholma Yula, what are your rebuttal to Dorcas' standpoint?
Yeah. Manya channel well in a ditch. There is something and I can go date it. Bulwell manadagan near ache completely. I am not saying near ache completely be to pay without us. My point is that near are Louis get it but there's still I can take a look at supervise. This is what I'm saying. Quinke point nyala bay nyan. So to me, I'm not saying wejal completely, but I'm also what I'm saying is that they must be given that room. Benike kati kanweke bikaloy. But are there youth? But agamke is a teen. The problem, Ebu Jalwell no, we draw the line. No one is crossing to each other. Keneka you will know kene alwell, child will nirajal completely. I think cool corn or one yin. But they have to be given a room. Okay, let's take an example politically. You find that there is a woman representative. So if it is true that we need to empower women, then we cannot empower them in an environment where men are dominant, majority. So if okay, yes, one way, you will not thrive. You will not thrive unless benang ground yen while you are advantage. When ang kangaro, anang woman MP, ala koi ken women, kwanang tingkai ken diar ken roar. Then that's an opportunity when we grow. So tangina I'm not saying that they are agile completely. Nira we can separate it completely. But I'm giving that room for women be reputed could be that empowerment. So yeah.
Okay, John Mayula, thank you for clarifying what you mean. Yeah, I understand children. For me, when I say water together, I still like, I think at some point now, yeah, you're picking what I'm saying, and at some point joining me. So okay, let me say, you say that we cannot grow without like in this environment where men are dominant. You know, for me in the world today, let me say in our community back, let me say back then, I learned so women and girls were not joining together, right? Kwachin ga jui ke ekre, right? Their responsibilities and role were different. But right now, what are we discussing in those associations? Development and growth. And then I know another generation behind. I development and growth ke chio should man war yelwa be ko bokachina santa below. That bokachina santa, like I can do tailoring, and also my brother can do tailoring. And we have to join together and we learn together. We are doing the same role now, right? And apart from, let me say, apart from role quanta by guitar, yes. But as we go for work and job, which was not in our time, it is the sheer thing. We are sitting in the office together. We are doing the same work and job together. You will not be a take it, and we need to learn the opportunities because I share. But at the same platform, because opportunity for content creator, a girl and a man can do it. We apply for it all. Because we can talk a carpenter, or let me say an engineer. A man and a woman today is doing an engineer. We go for that link and we apply all capabilities. That's why I'm saying we are together. I think we will take it ke wateke ja liu o yelwa ni la bunto ke e boka tat ku bara ge piu ku bara luiten ku roten chin ke ore bana we are on the same table. We are sharing the same responsibility. I know, like, those dominant men that cannot make us to grow in chol ako win that don't believe nyira ko atakun wo ku nyira ko right now are sharing the same role with us. So we need to come together and push ourselves to gain the same skill together. Ake ko will be wala nyani ko ngot ke nong that mind that we should remain in the kitchen. But if you believe that your sister right now has to be in the kitchen and still a little job to loy, then kachin kitchen Louis support Louis thrive like you. And I know we still have those people, right, that don't want us to thrive in the same place. As we are together, Kruti Dadu can even connect, we think to be bay to come and talk with us and push us. This empowerment as we are together. So, and at some point, let me tell you, man, I never know experience whereby I was in a school where all girls. Then I joined for boys. There was a way, we do things, like we need to do things as, let me say, as girls, and like we don't look at that point, you little brothers, and what can they learn from them, what can they learn from us? Until I also joined another school where were boys and girls. I was competing with boys, right? I was feeling like if they can, I can also do it. Like, let me say, when I was in school, I used to pass math like boys do. So me, I feel like we need each other, by the way. And
Let me put this one. Do you know that if you can be a chairman or a chairperson, let me say a chairperson of an association, ku kenyi ni nenya imekany rurabuban. Don't you think that that environment may stop you? Be it are busy because your parent has power over you. Kulugu negotiate, kungaila barkadal, and you be disqualified.
Why should I be disqualified? There's a community that does not support me as a sister. Kuna community and support me,
you have been married to another community. Another community. So into better.
They will support me to give me the mean to make sure I complete my term and my time. By when we online, I have to make my work done. And they have to support me. This is why I say we have to be together and support each other. Okay, why are we limit? You know why you limit a cheat yak, my job, and I into that position, that mindset alone, you know that brother are not ready to support us. They are not ready to push us, and we have that growth. And
that's why I'm saying in that environment, you need to have back on. But at least back on here by Japan. So such obstacles are still there. Quality be working any time. And
but I read those things I read man. I don't care. I look at them cool. Do I me up bear chu? Do I bear chu? Like a chairman war. A chairman war. I tell well cool and noble. It has to come to the point that yes, I knew well. we have to be here and we say it and we say it and we say it. Now if we run away, okay, you win. Which year and you which point in a chungujara loy? Chewangujara loy what die strong jula near bagda. Okay, or maybe are you guys going to sit down with your pay? And again, this time this year or this one wabi nyira buka jalu la kawari wa ga restrict and again na to position in chitia maybe inchi $5,000 chilu to contribute all those things na bi wa ga jalu or yeah which okay, when are you going to sit down guys and you go la what you go jamar wa you go jalgam when actually when and
the mind
I'm not
when the
disputing
mind
the point that Kobe any but we need to be within there, Kujoku be any piwa any area. But they are inside.
Thank you, Dorcas, and thank you, 𝗪𝗲𝗏. I really like this. I would want you to go back and forth so that we really bring our points out. So 𝗪𝗲𝗏 brought a very important point out, and that there are like natural barriers. For example, nyayatiak and nyalubitiak in any community, and one which is that as they will change in that community, then actually outside the community. As for example, most of our youth association are clan based, or they are like Payam based, or they are county based. And once we move to different county, then privileges are not in this county. And so that one make it difficult for be trusted to lead that community within that county. For really about the Germany, about the China, but you still your identity, because a patriarchal society, your status is not changed by marriage. That is one. So, and Dorcas said a very important point as well, that we need to change our structures to accommodate girls, whether because although your marital status changing, you still in your privileges. There's no way liben Chenman and Gok Island. So being Gok Island, in Gok Island leadership, I still have a place, and I can support what all the things that are happening in Gok Island, either as a girl, but also as a youth in my county or in my community or in my payam. And so Dorcas is asking very important question. Instead of, look down upon because of this wage and cultural societal setup or societal standard setup. We need to dismantle that and change that, such that marriage does not, take away privileges from the girl, just like a man. So now this brings us to first of all, let's define what this community association vision is. What is the purpose of having youth association? Why can't we just have like a man club? Because so let it just be man association, and just let women decide what to do with their life. Because after all, they they don't have a place in the society, in patriarchal society, because they are always in transition. So let begin from there. Maybe God, Dorcas, because you look at maybe Dorcas, what do you think is the vision of this community association? Or what do you think should be the vision of this? And how do you think, we can make it more inclusive and more just to both genders from your own perspective?
Okay, Cole, thank you for this question again. And by the way, at some point, if I'm hard, then sorry, because we are just trying to discuss this thing and find some common point and background. I know we are in the community that is uplifting men and men to do everything. But according to me, like if I look into this thing now, I actually don't know because I've never participated in this association. But if I just see like it's a community coming together. Let me say, like mostly in Juba, in Juba, the country is ours, but Juba is not our land. As those people that are making, let me say, Jiang, right? Let me say Jiang Bor. like Manalo, if you go to Bo now, that's our homeland, you will not find those. There's a way they just name youth leader, right? Not association again. So mostly in Juba, it is about unity, right? If there are challenges that are facing the community and the youth, right? To make sure that we see where we can solve them and have that common ground whereby we discuss those challenges together. Another thing is teaching ourselves leadership. Me, I believe like maybe teaching ourselves leadership, because you can even see now some of the people when they did well and they do better, they are promoted to maybe at high stages, or it's the way of working and doing things for your community, right? And we are teaching ourselves leadership. Is it men alone that being taught leadership? Don't we women also need to be taught to learn how to lead and help each other? So, and again, another thing is an opportunity of having the platform of sharing the opportunity, right? Like, let me say, like, it was discussed, those that usually come up, they say, I will do this thing for both to make, like, make people that are in Juba better. Let me say, like, last time I heard of vocational training center. That was for youth to learn, because it has been heard that most of the youth cannot understand those skills from other institutions because they are expensive. So they want to bring that thing closer, and they use pay less money and they learn the skill. And those skills are going to include you, that is men and what? And women. So those I think those are the reason why the association was formed, unless there are other factors behind, but those are the no reason that I know. Sharing the opportunities, bring the opportunities to the youth to assess them, and also learning to lead each other, to practice leadership.
Thank you. How about you, 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗶𝗶? What do you think was the vision of the youth association, both in diaspora and also in South Sudan, Juba? And or what do you think should be the vision and should be the focus? And how does that focus change your stand on whether girls should have their own platform, yeah, men should have their platform?
Okay. Actually, to me, at the beginning, I believe it was necessary. Association because Kaga cook mostly. Kaja cook, Kaja jal in the land, Kagala Jagamat Kuloik Association. Association then can one cake at that particular place, Kujela among themselves. When Anna Kocheria, Jaman Kogachela diaspora, Kikaber, Kojadong. That was the objective, and it was good. But as time goes, especially Jubatane, to me, the objective achieve better because at times we find people with big promises, things kache tapos bikalew, things that even concern government, things that concern things that has not even concerned that particular association. So neglecting that challenges Louis Cocker face. Let me just say for people living in Juba. So aka Louis cut off people back home. But challenges that are facing people down are neglected quite a minor. So to me, the association here, they are almost diverting from their main goal. Kitapot be alloy. Kitapot be alloy ya kegrozado. Biro kon coin. Achiro leo kun. Kaja kokogla coin. But at the moment now, elwe koko kon kaja coin. Yet your own challenges tene. Ache keroloy. Kan kachin objectives ajar. So objective dane be koi coin. If it is for a student, working youth, student challenges, Louis Sukulu, we can face. Okay, you go loy. Now, Chabab in Joral, Kayangulu, Chabab, Louis face in Joral. One of the measures here in Juba, Kona threat, a crew, one of them is Ajal crew. But you see, no one bothered. In Kalajama, vocational school, go dirko. Kawan to coin. Life here in Juba is hard. Life here is hard. So to me, what they're supposed to do, so They are not really on the ground. They are lolonial, but people are dumping. Koi will muke dumping, but cake are lolonial doing other things that really. So that's in Geklebal. Thank you.
Does the deviation from your mandate when I use empowerment, because it seems that I use organization they're supposed to be use empowerment, and I use empowerment environmental your position in show. So now that maybe I'm more political than social welfare youth, right? Um, does that any reason in okay now run on their own political agendas, let them be on their own, and you run on their own political agendas, let them be on their own. Now you are saying that okay, because now I can main welfare a competition political, antagonic, antagonism. Now let me together. Is that why you are choosing that position, or do you see that maybe you want to bring the model there where non and division of space and division of labor and division of opportunities where they are not can you can yellow let them do them let them because these are two different institutions. We are talking about how you can do it and now how they should be doing things based on this modern challenges and opportunities. Man, question, see, Manuel, to walk from the YouTube, that's education status, change position there. Because what one education. So education, they are informal education, and they practice in different way. Rorano, the only formal, they practice in different way. Now the formal education in Kalapula Jama, Diara la Jama, Rora Jama. Does the fact that they are now in equal space, that they should be equal? Because if I graduate, I can no more graduate, I think we're in it. So while you on the same table, kulwer ku kalwer ka chin ke bere long, because in school I can get here ko cha ka human body no nyir ke gurio to wa ka ba grade 6 na lo part of the body we discuss. But now they chin ken ku be ku na chin ken ku you internet chin ke ber war ya to ber wa bela long wa pe that ku ro everything is known. So you bela teto ku chuku new at the table and discuss with equal fresh mind, because what you pay was yeah. And I association when kin level of education or a kin modernity kabai ti kanong to them who can based on their environment. So maybe John might respond to that before Bana did by any space.
Okay. Yes. Kuba kon gam mana again. Status are war. Status change. That's number one. Number two, for us, we are transitioning. We get from Tito working to Teler working. So the community we see in the future and the community we have now. And for me, we cannot watch a change below automatic. So any choice separate, not because that now very very important but because that association are more of men that are older than the chabab, because you see it go back to humanity which is rarely blue contest ever rare. So you find that this young girl 𝗪𝗲𝗁𝗫𝗫 even though it's Jama, while you can almost 50 years, culturally you can which rebato you know that one at the kinjal goji. So all these things kaya galwel kake akor work ben kon yunga to 𝗬𝗱𝗂𝗁𝗵𝗲. Good benang other senior, let me say, senior females, let me say, because senior youth you they're not there on the ground. The facts on the ground that they don't involve themselves in politics. So our you're taking a women association automatically I did Latin direct. So ko la dong ne remte with kujaro di job very very hard. So to me, yes, status are gear, but still a long culture dia kiri ko la nyaja mas joya bando chapio. So inga my point is so unless we bring those seniors females to deal also can call ritual senior youth but bringing a young girl of maybe 28, 35 could be a 45 culturally a chair. So Nabilo, okay, fine, but I don't see that.
Dorcas, so the way our society is structured right now, even youth organization that we have, I can balance. So the youth routine a lot until 55, 60, rural youth. By 65, you grandmother and into better part of youth because that is how things are on the ground. Here in West in diaspora. So that is where 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗶𝗵𝗲 is coming. That seeing our youth, the definition of youth, even in our constitutional way of doing, because young people, 20, 30, I think walk and I chop on the panga, but deal with the dinner on the arcade, the temple youth man. So and that imbalance, governance or leadership, leadership opportunity, equal between getting you think in or so in the community, okay, part of the youth of that community. So in that case, someone very dear Quebec yen, big kakelo, and anong can be a tiny thing. Okay, it's fine. But creating a space for near when you're very young, when kenala do low you thin and lose privileges and status in that community so those small micro association can need and from Cholma perspective is that I just training ground or I just thin pole when you think any well no kuno. But really I can big impact because one which is I can get to life continue better and level dump to I can sustainability to within it. And at least it give them opportunity. At least when can now think then when can become money picture and back wow and they wait back at so em get the here reach your matter out of content of a judge of penyal. So now in Dorcas, based on these realities, do you still think that there's a point of competing in men table, or it's actually good to move down to thin that when one year thin as for time being? Now, you what they are in another community, a lot of women, it's all women association will join instead, but to usage.
Okay. This is really very fun and interesting topic, by the way. And okay, let me say, to clarify on the point, yes, nearly be support to steal it. What I mean is that manata in position, let me say I'm a leader then both India, maybe 2 years or 3 years. Can go then I mean I need to be supported to still have that chance to complete my term, right? But Jarapandi, yes. I also believe, according to the community right now and the society expectation, your status change, right? Okay, and it's still actually saying, I like let me say, kind of nyan panda. I still I love panda. Yung ako na hinyan unte kay binu nga gigolo the I have fraud okay la nyanda. Eh? They still feel fraud nyanda. Nyanda and I don't know kin chulutin. Babi jam barong ko belwel yinay ba nano ay ka bale nyir ka lwel yung ina chol ti jaran ti I know boys tin yekne. What I want to clarify that nata banyi kutiaken kaja tul time dia kaya samala pandi. I will also join my community people and also work there. Come an nyan dit panda. I know about well no kun panda. Let me say, you know, you man join cholo deal. Me, I also believe this association have lost at some point their value. And let me say, it is because of this patriarchal stuff, right? That's why you can see a 60-year-old man still ngot ki jam. Okay, wa man wa youth man wa yuruti man yuruti kurman. Ka jalo ke poje panga kwa chiranja. Hmm? Chiran tinge ne yen ke dizuru dir ke ka ngot ke lui ngadi. And man jabla they should sit down and solve this problem. Yung mi tiruti. Suppose bi ke train kini nyir bia upia kui ba yung ke jalo panga ku chiran lui concern about, right? Bi ka pele ke gloy. Okay, na japa ke ru dir ke man ku bujato malo panga wa ru ti nyira ku lo ku slay lwel ke. Ku jel ke lui dira bi liwale. Ke chibla gar pinya sejene chibria. Bla gar pin kuria. Angwana bu kuoti. Ku bo be together ku bo chopin chana cho ya chopin. Ku jel nge kran wa chopin ko ra berben. Ku ber nyan wa chopin ko ra berben ber ati wa chopin ko ra berben. Kumana jinel wele. Okay, let me say, we are not going to stay together, and as we stay together, kamu gola tia kan tijal. Ber nyan tin de ben waja ro jari it na gola tia ke tugia. Na cha tia ka chin ber we ko ya da du because anti jal. Achin ko ber ko we nyir war ke o ka de ma ben ye nge ben ku jilde yir ko ko war jalo bi ngelo len to ke den mo yini mi jwa jal mia ni ma ndo ko ben da din to tem ru ngoro ku jale. Me, I feel like I know right now is really very hard, but a hard and bra be nyote ba no mane mo dino ke te teme lekin ke garu dirga at some point where we sit down with them. I know man jelo anyir sini anyman o ya koro che bela benchara Israel ko na lu she je weche ka timo chi ja ku yena adam ting mana lo ma che windo diano ke jol nyir diara to ku nyira ku je diar ke pa no be. So I'm seeing the ground ni diar to diar jo indom den mane na ja ben pa no ko bla pa no ni la ku bartin istira ajala pa ni ku to ne ruti ka bi ruti nya diar yer ken ware chi jar ku bela ben le benang ground kuna jokulo ku joku riti da ku jala bala jamia bala tiagti achin ke wa kore liu. That's why I'm saying we ruti big war don't like, let me say, it is really very hard, but find a place to accommodate us here right now. One of the challenges you will face to, let me say, man kwa ku wato jupa ile banang issue of let me say assessing an opportunity. Kuna to won wata matku ile banang ground we jam la banang opportunity bi yin baloy na jo wari da wa yin Europe pa himane. So that mean ku yete se opportunity ka bu ga la ko mane chanen jam. We are learning the same skill in school together. Ku yen wa bi ajeno opportunity bu go jala ko jala gora ka nyir ka pa ka kor ke. Kabu yala kor ke nyira pa wa nyir ku bu nyuj ku. Abu ta mala yala ke ngi jawo te ke ruti ade kor ti ko ya. Kulo itu yigla ko be wani pinya na nang challenges ade be ruti ko ko ni keke ade. So with time I know this road you will not understand, but we still, I don't think we should run away. They should need a place to accommodate us, and I know with time as they accommodate us we need to kabu ele ruti kana cha lo war ko wadalele ruti nyir kana chu lo war ko wadalele then ka jelo ko lo yade. I notice her, right? But with time, you don't well with time we shall find a ground. Because I think man ka you know woman. I got tum kanan work. Ye chiloy. Nge chilo lo connect. Work or butu jam connect. The mobile water platform glue connect the moine nya di jekin yellow what di jekin kweloi. And I you me akin yike ya yellow ka bewla di jekin wara hilo bia lord in glue. Kuna joku la we ko ja nyide inera antiera lo ka pinye kene ki nyan ke jodi ye nyeloi. Maybe let me say maybe engineering role. Kwa kora ni nyeloi ba nyide na nyeloi ka ja nyeloi. I know it's hard to understand point of view, but I tell you ni ana chin point. Beneru dir ya nyi pinya lu je kulwele. Yen wet ke nyira man jam wo ke jalo man jo ko bi ben bi regro wo. Kwacha lwele nie kige lo even mana chin ke kwa lutin nge role de nge lo bar wa nguru watoto.
There's something problem here, Dorka, that I want you to also see. From a women empowerment perspective, I know women empowerment is your mission and part of your educational journey at African Leadership University. So, Chumanina the youth in both community, right? In youth. Now, Tiakin man tetere, Tiakin outside the community now. When if you a youth by age, which I think a community age, will you continue to go and join the community age in a young woman, right? To be part of community age, you getting barriers. Dear, and we are well from our own perspective, but being a young person, and you have seen our community, what you told my like one to be here. Ka youth started the alu drop ke women association group ka le join. But one who might think a lot be ko very dia ku an ka dia kere youth. So alu be youth activities alu be dia kwa ngechu whether ka dia ke run ke youth or ke senior youth. But now there's something like this, I think culture expect you or your responsibilities can expect because one kid a young woman you need to go and learn and adapt to that culture. You need balance this move. By the time being job and then community kin here boba and into you contribute up yet. So how do you like can you be youth be together? But when we go to community association, with seniors, they are seniors get together. Like you believe that based on our modern way of doing things, where can come to the we should work hand in hand. There's no way we could this small way work pay. So what do you think are some of the barriers they are? Church will contribute whether as youth and also as young women in leadership activities and communities topic of it. And how can that one be changed, either through constitution or through advocacy?
Okay, acknowledgement really like everything that define us today. We're human. You could tell, right? You could really and you put it. So let me say, and it define the youth yeah then yeah the right? According to people right now, and I say and yeah which are young and be a youth. That's the diminution of the mindset and what has been put there. But na let me say because yung age youth are youth will define kuna this user session ni I issue the user feka ika behindya kiyo mata status okay ina ti akine nya 23 24 25 ben 30 yini youth right you are a youth and okay yung na chi ti akinje go nyu ta ni aboba aka do di rento to india association ka lo lu join but when ke which ben is still there the challenges and your challenges are different. So and I see now talking together like this, book community but open why my youth, Chakati more than a youth and the community dear one, then I think will join. The youth that is organized. Chuman youth, you be the academy youth. Karang will join and I still make an impact in the leadership because I'm not a youth under it. And I dare on the army, I can't I get a good job at the door. And you can't have a youth at any. That's all dear one work out here. You may think more into one of the Janine youth. A chena chitia kinchi die, inchi die. If we put that standard in a job there, and I'm a Jaran Jetoya and a youth and we are solving problem together. As I said, one of the same problem. And I'm a Jara, the bunch of grandmother, children to 65 grandma. Can you jajan? Kaya 60, kaya 50, kuja youth one. Kuja jaja, then do I work one do challenges for the dog. Or on you youth jabera, Benya, or a dog, you could be a hitting. That's how it's supposed
Adi. Let me put something here.
Let me finish my intro.
Okay. You will come. All these associations are almost 15 years can we exist. I think. So, but what we are trying to we are fighting the only one goal okay, but the strategies are different. That's whereby we disagree. So I'm saying or the young girls are still angor kitchen voice. Okay, let me say, but raise a question dun. Ukarur when che gamana dagayen they have their mindset that na chitiak injal. Okay? So if people go for democracy, people will vote and they will vote against that. Automatically in for some time. Okay, nang the you go can by breaking through. But now break through. But the surrounding, the environment will dictate it for you. So that's why I'm saying so that you raise those issues. Issues can be banned through the platform. We have voice, we are a majority. Okay? But now Lord and we are 5 on the table. We will vote against that. Okay? Yes, it might be right. But in democratic, so point to take to will still about and them yabo bergu year. Other way by arrow, contact the churudit we are diak. So what they were eating. So this is whereby I'm saying need our court binang to be engaged in pure could be binang that kayika work challenges bigger by together. Kabanang backups the biala. This is what I'm saying.
Okay, Chola, I get you. And here, let me ask you a question now. Okay, and what we go away and you talk about way in a lay and young near. Kind of jar, I'm being near about Joya. And Joe everywhere. I'm just said, what I need a will loss. Come on, Lord, dodgy blood, what dodge. Okay, now, my issues make a face. Does that mean my Jando will join problems to make a face and a youth can't use? Or not having opportunities to assess them. But where are they going to be solved? Can't you do a solve? Do I
Okay.
you have a niche? I be a me ben yarkato. So now where do I belong? And
Let me help.
where do I belong?
Let me help you. You will advocate that it is not necessary. Najati County, assuming you are from Burkan or from East, the same East. Then you will say that I still have the right. Can you use? Huh? Then you will educate yourself from there until you guys understand that this is Kenalu affected, and if we do like this, Kachu will be affected. Then you'll get a solution. You get.
Okay, I get. Okay, Joel. Now, let me say any nyan county kutiaka and kutui achin platform yake, let me say, okay, right. Achin platform yake problem with you ticket ya ke youth a chike solve because achin platform for them. Platform but you agree you talk about man. Kwata alu John Jan Chenya. And a tick. Ya could come at the door, send a door, chicken renting. No more. Anti jar panda anti beanya panda kwanti nyiri pandi ajanga lo lui join amla lo diari kwangura no problem the youth are really faced. It's still, let me tell you, Joel, this is the dilemma we are in, right? And this is the fact that these are the issues that we are facing as women. Okay, let me say, even my main focus as I talk this thing now, I'm not like aiming chambugunimtong, but I need brothers to support me, like I have like to support my growth. Okay, let me be with you when you don't want to work, but support me with the challenges that I have. Let me say, we are going to sit down accommodate. So now we are waiting. How are they going to sit down do accommodate in that decision? Because the fact that our problem to work and we can solve, right? Because
a trap that will prolong your suffering.
and
You am not
it's still okay. It's still where do
prolong
you
your
see
suffering. Listen, Abu affected for long. You know, we share the both Kajuja Yuga here, those 3 counties. Kajuja Yuga here. But problem they're always the same.
exactly.
You get they're always the same.
Even
So
almost the man now. Problem aja majal niya himben ajal tung. Chori le bachin job man bichin job problem tung na tung wakene. Ini bata in chin job kan chin job ko wachin connection to get the job.
But and about here in Tingyani one month and I get some money kwa way. You know,
That's a man you.
at I meet you all ticket. So there are a lot of things. I
Okay. Are those things solving our problem? We could problem. So why you can
I-
problem solve it.
it can by the way,
What
Ali,
yeah, can
there are a lot of things that I'm more advantage than you
uh-huh.
at the community level, and I'm more advantage than you.
Uh-huh.
So at some point, and one, so let's go back to the point. Let's go back to the point. The point is that ni ananga ji ikat tanpen, especially in the leadership.
I understand.
So unless we create a room, ben ke we ma ben ke aja we ma, you know, even na nang chopin ku chi ma ku berla we ala you at least kiki no banang banang good idea. So for me ba we ma ngale ben we la ba nimbela wa sharma ba ting yung ni ai wadadu ko kangu ni ai we, but being in the this it dominated the it will take years cha nyandu ka chelo do ben betin.
Oh my God. Okay, let me say, Kyola, I understand. But if we just see now in this point right now, and at the end, if the same opportunities share, we push for them as men and women, and I also still see what would a para like that, what lawyer, and they are together. Right? It's still a chicken or bed together and have a child and there. And I let Golmi Abu Wabo to go to Quanya to Ryan will be able to our petty. Can be
No,
away?
no, no. Aleo can
Like,
Aleo.
I
It
see
is not.
that. Because if that
I
mindset, you keep it, that mindset, okay, let me say,
unless
in Cholele. You need to cause a
unless
belang limit of which. Jonathan
unless
Quany.
unless nang work convince. But if we convene ourselves,
Mm,
which to European, and
mm,
yes, and it's necessary being be by way and with all the reason catching hatred that will develop. But now lawyer any tongue could be youth,
mm,
and this is whereby eleven quite affected, then quite remand. But if we do it, could dialogue, could negotiate, and till
mm.
dead man, yeah, it is true that war at least what you can dominated. So we need our ballot. It will work.
When is that going to happen here now? Are you saying a change of a generation? You go like a change of generation and again maybe Chago generation, Chalanobi, oh Jani Pinka and I in a thing. Because I never look on bean money. Kay and I ben we had to look on bean. Because I'm seeing now to young up child and there. Because I don't see a point
I'm
when time you jump on bean.
I'm
Or you
seeing
say
I'm
that
seeing
generation but no
what
law.
I think
Mm,
the youth you call youth now a mix
mm,
of different generation. And I call it this 1970s,
mm-hmm,
1960s. Kwananga Guti Gen Z, they're there. So
mm-hmm.
the mindset is not the same. Because are
Exactly.
whining.
Mm,
So if I'm seeing after Gen Z, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm projecting.
mm-hmm,
Case inclusivity of the Air Force Board.
mm-hmm.
But and Kwangotiki, that's those different categories, generations to
Mm.
that body together. And women actually do thrive. This is what I'm seeing. So I'm
Okay,
seeing the future in Gen Z.
that is
So
really a
I'm
very good
not
analysis.
asking for interrupt to debate it. Thank you, and I am enjoying this. That's why I'm keeping quiet because this is how it's supposed to be. Because the battle, go back when you will said that Brana Piotr reason why NPR the women leadership be a separate or be a combined kind of male leadership. Now you could have been into Kakwan board community to tree. So I just want to trade BCYA. I tell well, I need a war. I told my little near case suffering one again because the idea about lose suffocate about die. In three is and carry our back a band bay, yet And I had to tell you actually that is another problem because the more very near baby pay. Kuleka wrong then teen then chen ke we are comfortable and ke you have lot them weighty and division or chaos of the get to go or all big name or need to then go pay with your then go pay so watching the ben walk one name Martin. So from debate spirit and uncle be so my communication is happening. And not when who are actually pushing because for example Kenyan Cherry Arbeka, do you believe that ye nyir ke taken that operated out pay and ke ka lu push on or ke actually when nyir ke jal ke wai ke then they might be pushing them away. I don't know, that is speculation, so I want your intellectual reflection on this. I nyir ke kur ke bi jal ke pe on or chol ma yura ke chin mar ke ku big this agenda of separation big then I said that we create more room for her in that association. Are these really genuinely helping this girl, or are they actually, disadvantaging these girls? Same thing in this, in that same, vein. There are, ni who want to be matkana or not or we can push, stay with us, stay with us. So now Rurkeka is the independent factor in this conversation. Rurkeka aru te nyir ko te aru te nyir jel kor big no association and get pay kor keka aru te nyir yang we ko walk together. So I want you Baranyai from your own perspective and maybe the interguru there. Kulwel like if what is the way forward? Do you want be barur chiro taka ko bigro nyak bi a nyir ke lwe determine de pe ko nyir jam self determination sama jam rorore nyir jam bi rer kan rorore ke sama jam rorore so aror winning either way from your perspective, and what do you think can be done? In the past, I proposed that they revise the constitution of youth association. We say youth, let's make it by age. It doesn't matter whether you are married or not, let's remove marital status. This speculation, you lose privileges, it should not be there because youth, whether you take a much. So if we are 35 and below, which is UNHCR, identification of youth, you are 35 and under, youth. Either you or into a youth association. Chitiaki in India, different community, and I know youth association, then you under 35 and you want to participate, you go and join them. Chikorbalu join Korai now whatever cities here, cities like into Juba in a day, which is in 2 years. And you are youth, you can decide to whether you continue in a board community fund one or unity, you have freedom to choose when you because association is by choice, it's by force. We don't need to connect them to counties. We just give them a association of this county and you can have double citizenship. In Yemenia, you can decide Barir Panduan or Barir Pandu. Kinyamboy too, which I think in one tree when you be thinking on board, you can decide Bapar you the board, Patodu or Bapar you the tree Panduan. Because in nine double citizenship by marriage. So because the change of pay, will change too. You now have because even we align our manifesto to national manifestos. Now, Kenya, you have dual citizenship, right? You're a citizen in Kenya by marriage and you're a citizen in South Sudan by birth. Same thing in Kenya, Kuchala, South Sudan, that the same thing happens. So why can't we align that to bring those down to our constitution, youth governance, such that marriage give you more opportunity? It doesn't actually cut your opportunities. So that's what I say in the past. So before we wrap up, I want you to take some few minutes to reflect on what do you think are way forward, and what place do you need to be better or coaching? Do you think that this decision will be decided by DR themselves, or do you think you have a part and you welcome their perspective? Or no, when you stay together because you are in that line and you see what you stay together into Meroke. What is your larger vision?
Okay, well, thank you for the analysis and the question there. Okay, actually, a little bit assumption, loy, and the assumption a little bit aye, you know, go in jam on an assess kind of thing. Quite you go, Timanonia and Cherry Big Man, they struggle right now, eh? The struggle that has happened a week, Kwango to Quancho, a Quancho, qua Liepenum, Quarry, Qualiade. And let me say, to be honest, and there are a lot of factors, scale, Loike and Champion and Cherry Benbe. First of all, akwaltima ni when you want values communities to. Kukoya all 2 years I know their values mostly on how they respect women. Of which anong kang yo lewa ni aping lo ala na palti gutui kay ha ka tia ka toy. Lating ji poli tu ye chen tia ka toy or chen tia somewhere. But ting pale go I have to tia, right? Because there was a way community actually handled him. And when you maybe say community to you, there's a way the dear can handle you can respect. Or which maybe chilibara you are toy go and there's a way in God dear can handle kwa chiliba you 2 years or chiliba you are toy, right? Those are community style and values. And for me, according to me, I when I again this cocker lawyer and again year 2 years I became wake and came on many reason. And for me, I assume one of the reason is that when a gentle jam and again you actually will thrive it in it. Another reason, yeah, we assume a little bit and again you have a good. A good kukalo and good chakatala be a kara loika pay. I assume I live in Ankoto. Kwani ba lue shum ngono ko jamani kien a chi could be to in the same day wo green ni ta ni na to ka pai kwano ko jamani kien no ko ya lue shum ke yen tin ni ra chi di lue thrive the same table so kai da no ni lo ta ko pai ke ko ka to ben ke ali bi na reason lui ke wachi lui ga ni pu bi to ka pai kwano ko jam yes man ko jam ke ni ra ta wo ke anye ke ni ra chi di lue thrive ni but atmosphere ko blue credit ni to ka ko ke I assume ke anu the reason ke ni ko bi ni lo full bi ni to ke right so I know different reason different perspective to ke imana jin chol ya mo no different generation kwe yi and now why in ke generation angot ki lui continue because generation like a mindset like for me man if I view my life back mindset they are working mindset high and man because I have gone through learning I have read some books and they are showing me day and night right so na ero no nyia kuluru te nyu tine ke karo te again this year abnang they will follow different perspective of this man or man jamani ken nyere kwa joto kun wo kalim na ran to ya ben ko kor ku diria ki kur bi nyira ta kan nyira ba ta ka pai ko ben na ran diten ke bian bi nyira ko bi ata kun wo and abidir ke ngor ke terre ni miya ana la janda bi nyir bi la long man jen jole le long le ben miya ke ko won ci luy lan no mi won ci ben ya ke ruti ko ci luy lan no ruti no ru dir won to sine yuzu jam ka pe bi nyir to kun won ruti abira na bi pinga pet kulwel ke ya pe bi nyir to kun wo kuran chaga met che ping ne no ko jam nyira ni pet kun wo ale bi ko guru ro maybe a ko bi la ka pe ji luy thrive tine abungot ki jam tu kar lai dan ma jam ka abnom lo ya kai no ya it will still continue because the mindset as I learn man but we learn nga kwal kul we follow kene kul we learn no chol kul we follow tara ye different generation or we jam we convene so even jago ben together man jam ene is still abungot one of those different opinion abungot keto and that's what make community because now different opinion like that so okay man tina mena ko ro ake the main factor creeping determine bi wada to kan ke ka ke determine bi wa chwa we bujal ake ka yen we determine so at this point ali balwel ko en nyu ku pinda okay let me say let brothers stay aside man nyan cherer be ku nyu ku pinda honestly on a honest point you could think ke ka pa ya be ka empowered kwa be challenges can challenge okay unless ti purpose as region triya bana yeto nye ko ci ku ko biru kwen kwa bunyi pi mani wa bari wa pa problem ko lu so le boy nyire buka lu so le bo pa chin guru ti korale kuna buka kor ga buka yala yede yu buka yala yude na yuku tingo ke wa lu try problem ko lu so le me chan ya masters opportunity de ben new place community do ko kire different community a chinye kin ko networking ku aja yu ke nyir ku ai issues mane ai ku ne ni into bi na chi ti a kin ti jal ke ni be aranden ka chin ko be lo ke ko nyu ke ne ko ka ni bi wa nyir buting ne ko nyu na chi wa kon ke ye bula ri wa ka ti bula ora ti kana chi wa kon ri da wa pai kam ko bai win min ba lu ya ko ndo mi ko chi do wa jo ye ni ku bulo ya la ka yemu these are personal things that I'm doing but na yero ti mana jo ku ye ti yero ti no ko wa jo ko ro ko yomu motive dan behind motive dan yomu ku jo ka ja ka ya saida bube nyu pi na bube tin ye ko kon ngene ka chi wa kon ka ye bula ri wan ke chan for me I believe we need them and in this empowerment we need them so I can say like that because I ke bu ke chal ke ro tiar still a ke reason ken kan on reason lu wa push a ke bi ngur ke yi ke luen.
Thank you, Dorcas. And 𝗬𝗧𝗴𝗲𝗁𝗁 different question, but I'm not do so. Ben his final conclusion, below. And Ruben Panchol, Kudualdu, thanks for your comment. Lit was here also. Ruben Panchol was saying that this association actually are more destructive than actually are improving our lives. So, from empowerment perspective, that is something that we will debate another time. If this association really matter, and or they are actually becoming to thank you, my in from different perspectives. So, from my perspective, I was gonna ask you, echo that constant factor. Okay? At the end of the day, they will determine whether association or be together. Because they have power of vote, majority in this association because they are time when we are participating in the association. Or actually culturally allowed because association can a lot of yum, a lot of politics or law conversation or law when a lot they are in 100% so they are actually space for practice so you can have free time take a majority although you need they are silent by culture and by responsibilities and also by lack of opportunities like access and platform and so many other things. Koi do la mana nyiti kene ke tia ku nyiti kene ke tia ka majority are young and naive I can exposure. So sometimes when the argument actually so now will play that advantage for the own interest, and that interest might actually be detrimental to girls. For example, the question I want to ask, so no when who are supporting you and say, let me have the own space. Ben can you might open ideas can yellow ben walk one voice. And we will find a way to accommodate them in our community. But no rule of no let it stay, you think and chicken Martin. So it looked like I want you to speak. Is this Tongarur man can dear or is it Tongarur can using dear? Because it look like no rur ka tapping ka job will meet and now you can I can use a phone, right? I can use when cake the mean achieve. Rur when a beta now again it's rur they are now pulling this rope. What do you think? Is this really in the interest of women? Or is this a political interest using women as scapegoat when they got in their own political playing ground? And what do you think is the way forward? Before when you can message who shoulder close.
All right. So to me, initially, arrow that ukaka lui near Pikakona wake. Initially, it was out of women or of men deciding being bit of a. But because of different interests, other people get suspected actually on that side lebe nang wrong motive when lebe nyir be chola bach be la bear way if they are not careful, especially chiman kan nyan chirari arbega cheni nyir chen ka roti ka pai ku living all this kaloirote ku be roti yung objective dan wa chototne. Okay, what you got totne, but what do we want to achieve apart from bu koy go empowered, bu nyir kony, bu diar kony, bu nyir bu commented and all this. Apart from that, what is the bigger picture that can work in terms of leadership? So, but na kaloy ke kukumu wanyin ke wrong element ke error ale bi kedala mo la kedala bad, and it will also affect women. So at the long run, they are affected. So my youth and that women they ni actually completely in the context of association ni actually supposed be completely. Quite supposed be submissive completely, be token error. Absolute. This is my point. I really need cake a gam ke room tin then, but still an opportunity natural che tro yo ke rier ka bo ke te ya ka te ya chen now chen yin wi ke ka. Second, I agree one call man again age factor in living quite. Second, I believe that association ku chin ku ngod junub ku de tole ke the young people, if they are taking court of being 35 below this one ke helpful, but now we continue can when ke it will really kabe more political. So you think already BCI do county at least is silent. I think you can ping to me. But for us, what it is one Bull County, it is so dramatic. So the anang elements the call opposition who want to fail others. I'll be twirling nyiri kunyiri careful. I'll be kenyai could leg a tau into I let to kalekene nyira rola you to. So and therefore you have to be careful. Could big decision can take a influence outside that they have to define themselves. When the factor let me say mostly the women empowerment in general. A goal ila one kule the nanko holo lurke and therefore they lost direction. Kuna lego yo ke rande pe gererian. So it is very important for women to know that she randa ubelo very and another gear, because at the same time get recycling of the problem. So this is what I can say.
Thank you for that word of advice, and of course, and for echoing the fact that influence or external influence can be a big factor, and sometimes we be blinded, because if you look at the narrative right now, using Nyanchirari Albeg Association, they are accusing each other that the enemy of a woman is another woman, but they are not forgetting that there might be men who are working in those women to bring women down at the end of the day, or men are using that division to achieve their own goals, and let their own goal achieve. So there are a lot of nuances which are at play, but the reality and what I can say, what I can conclude from both conversations, before I give you each maybe one final chance to say your last word, what I'm hearing from you is that both is that you all agree that there is a problem in our community and how we are set up, how we are organized, and even how we form this association. You also agree that some of these problems are natural or are gender specific, like a gender problem, right? Being thick and not very escape. Being much and not very escape, but no opportunities get too as well. What I'm hearing is that while the narrative of separation is out there, you guys are all aligned that there is value in working together, but also in creating platform when the couple are empowered, so the old structure one male dominated with your one position or one board your women representative, and that women representative that does not make it even empowering, right? Because if in the leadership role at the table who think to any decision making voice vote out, so she will not be an effective represent women. But if you been from a women association that are not and ideas can be hard, but look at what the election progress now they are either way, either when you are separated to the main table. So the way to in is, of course, having separate table is just like run separate space and can you rural big law to the way to politics like discuss. Ali big law one get child in group like politics. Ali big law die kura like politics like discuss. There are so many public spaces, Martin. Rural big law long hotel like a pay like jamba na la nyir hotel like a to joke. Because in our culture, they don't want women to be out there doing politicking in spaces where you can politics. Really, people like politics today, and then and they are having good time. Look at ideas. They are actually those spaces. So having a space like a platform, is organized platform or a structured platform when an institution should recognize and respected and allow uleketene ka chat kan bende na di so me nya jel pande na do respected that at on the leadership of adi and adi will take care of them ke ben in that space nothing wrong will happen is also important. So so those are some of the things that have been so as maybe as a last concluding statement, we need to make a vote. I think from this conversation, you will learn from 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗏 that will make you, see the point from both, having a unified vision, but also having like different platforms when set space ala you ala jam. As 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗏 point that you are seeing the different ways that if you are given a chance to model a new use leadership structure, can model it. And same thing, Cholin Bajabu conclude, stop some point change that actually you see unity is paramount, and how can you incorporate that into your new model of youth leadership? You want to organize a youth organization, how would it look like? So I did take it away 1 minute, and then 𝗬𝗏𝗍𝗏 jump into 1 minute, and then I will conclude the show.
Okay, I will not know the job because what the point got you told. And yeah, the main point will be the whereby at some point maybe I cannot report those that are considering to have separate one. Maybe it's that point of saying maybe generation Raman Jam or be because it's a mix up generation, right? Maybe at some point, but still I see it. They will have influence on the young one that will still continue to say what they are saying that will make us still stay separate. And maybe na near be this association and talking cake, chicken be limit to only those that are not married. Big limit they don't know youth, being could be the youth be defined or big na chitia because I took with thrive here. Can I cheat ya? Kimungo teenager in a you and a cake because you are still facing the same challenges they are facing. Because me getting married and having a baby, the challenges in and they use a chicken stop, of which I will still need to be supported and mentored. Can turn in the age of the youth until but young beyond that ban problem can pay ban kachebe lui faced. Ban you guys stop aside kujala maybe other side. So be near be ngot ke nyira kan tika tia be maintain of which na te ya kutaka tia community kam ngora le lo ko de chara tia bu ko numu angora le you want tia kwa lu ke join anchi bula ta door maybe that's when maybe I can say, ko you be way near the cheruti or lui puch. Taka wala nyan tiaka jer way nyan kin tiaka yile. Maybe kaka wun chu go goal wun chu anyu pinga bo coin. That's maybe a point whereby I can consider separation. Can a lawyer because we and at this point honestly I still say let's be together. Let's be together and find a place to accommodate us. But for those children sideline that I can say, then can you take it yeah, youth and what the accommodate I think get job because they are still facing the same problem you have. And I let the meaning this children laws, but I had to help and support to grow together, then and yeah, I still say we need each other to support each other. Let's find a place to accommodate each other, though it's very hard.
Okay. Anyway, points again tanga is that yeah, nangi apoku ben wapo so wala buni la chilway, and it will also be recurring. Be there ki meeting lo yeah, yeah, it's still makala be there ke watch so nyira be there ke tot dan talk it, so it might come in a point that we may not come together in future. So point I consider it. So mindset a little bit like Lurat, a little bit like future which I agree on that. Second, I also agree that near or agree that near actually they may not even know young from this discussion. What exactly do they want? So nananke korke maybe they want to define kitchen influence around that thing. So it might be men playing games. So to me, the women also need to define what do they want. Kitchen influence will be kitchen influence around so that it may not be like a mind game at times. That wake, they still there. Oh, yeah, this is what we told you. You see, now so you come back. Oh, we're doing the same things. So yeah. So those points I agree with 𝗪𝗱𝗏𝗍𝗏.
Thank you, 𝗪𝗱𝗏𝗍𝗏, for your, learning Chakalum from 𝗪𝗱𝗏, and thank you 𝗪𝗱𝗏 from learning Chakalum now 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗏, and thank you both for all this wonderful debate. I actually learn a lot from you, young people. I try my best to hold back, but I'm still a youth. Maybe by next year, can you have seen a youth? I will not. I will be respecting these spaces. But the thing is, what is really important is from U10 perspective, we all know that work of empowerment. And empowerment, can happen in different ways. Empowerment are intersectional, boundaries as well. And so as we go out today, I want us to go and reflect really. What does, community youth empowerment model look like? What is the end goal of this youth association? If it is leadership development, then what are some of the qualities of leader that are not gendered, right? You can be a woman and you can lead an organization or association effectively. You can be a man and you can do the same. How can we create inclusive spaces whereby both contribution of men and women are seen and are given space to grow equally? So those are some of the questions book there. What is the value of having so many of associations that are tapping into the same pool of resources? Instead of having one association with different branches, different spaces with different missions that are either could be achieved through gender lens or could be achieved through other means. So why can't we have like one association which is collective for all of us, but now create committees within the associations to achieve that goal instead of everyone want to have their own associations. Why? Or, so those are some of the question book and 𝗟𝗡𝗊𝗍. And why are we even fighting? If the goal is empowerment for youth, either for both men and women, why are we making it a politics? Because if the objective is the same, it doesn't matter how it is achieved. Either through separation or through unity, the end goal is, we achieve this deliverable, and we will not be fighting. We will collaborate instead of, seeing it as an opportunity to compete or to do a lot of those dramas that are happening. So I hope for those who are hearing now, thank you for staying with us. For those who will listen to this conversation later on, we will welcome your thoughts. But personally, 𝗓𝗏𝗄𝗏, I really value the contribution of both men and women. I really want us to work out something collectively in the constitutions that will give us all the leverage to use whatever tool we have to achieve that one vision, and instead of fighting one another to, for this community organization. I want us to fight each other or compete when it comes to business, but not when it comes to social welfare and youth empowerment. So that's what, and of course, to make sure that we define what is youth and how marital status impact this in our current setup. So those are some of thoughts, and thank you all and have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye for now.
As we come to the end of this conversation, I just want to take a moment to remind you that the growth doesn't happen without taking a new direction. So if there is a message that has given you some clarity, some courage, or even a little bit of push towards the positive direction, I want you to take that with you, sit with it, go offline with it, and encourage you to continue to invest in your personal growth, and say thank you for taking the time to be here for yourself and for the community, for the growth of the community. The U-Turn is not just a show. It's a community where real talk, real growth, and real U-Turn happens. So until next time, stay empowered, stay intentional, and never be afraid to make a U-Turn. Thanks. Bye.